Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum and the theoretical upcoming tidal wave. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up. Also, check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. So, what we're going to be discussing is something we have discussed before, but for Bitcoin. If you follow this channel, we talked at length in the past about whenever the major move by Bitcoin comes that takes us to the prior all-time high at close to 20K, that you do not want to miss it, right? And this is why I would always personally say, the largest holding, none of this is financial advice, of course, but my largest holding is Bitcoin. Okay, because when Bitcoin makes a run at that prior all-time high back then, you don't want to miss that train because during that run, it outperforms almost every other cryptocurrency. And then after the run or during the run, you can systematically go into other cryptocurrencies, occasionally take profits off Bitcoin and go into other coins, and hopefully they start flying, just like you're seeing now. This is one of the reasons why altcoin mania is so intense, is because so many people have made so much money on Bitcoin, and they can start just throwing some of those profits at these other smaller cap projects. Which brings me to my next point. These market conditions, I've lived through many of these phases, and it's pretty much the same thing every time. And in my experience, we have this altcoin mania right now. You have coins going up 100% there, 100% over there, 200%, 300%. This can go on for a while, okay? And it's going to be a lot of fun. People are going to make a lot of money, and then later on, people will lose a lot of money. We don't know exactly when that will be. But in my experience, what happens after a lot of altcoins, after we see this surge of altcoins for however long, what will likely happen is you'll see a lot of those profits from the altcoins get sucked up into Ethereum. And Ethereum will then be like a tidal wave. Now imagine, to give you an example, to paint a picture that I think a lot of people could appreciate, imagine you're at the beach and you have these waves. And each wave is like a new altcoin going on an amazing run. You get a wave, you know, uh, ADA goes on an amazing run, and then you get another wave, and Avalanche goes on an amazing run, and then you get another wave, and maybe Link is going on a run, and another wave, maybe Polkadot is going on a run, and you keep getting all these waves, and they're just different altcoin projects. Sometimes you might get a two waves for the same altcoin, or a few waves, and this will go on for a while, and then at some point it will subtly change, and the entire imagine the ocean, all these profits just get sucked back in, and they go into Ethereum at this stage. Some Bitcoin as well. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say mostly into Ethereum. I'm sure a lot of people are taking profits to USD. A lot of people will be taking profits to Bitcoin, but a lot of it too likely will go to Ethereum. And then when Ethereum does that, it will surge through and hopefully put on an amazing show. Okay? And we've seen this happen before. And if you've seen it happen before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me show you one example. Okay, I'm going to show you guys one example, maybe two examples of what I'm talking about. So first, and we've looked at some of this before, let's look at ADA. Okay, when did ADA peak in the last market cycle? Let's take a look. It peaked on January 5th. Okay, ADA peaked on January 5th. When did Link peak? Let's go look at Link. So if we go back to 2018, Link peaked on January 8th. So ADA was January 5th, Link was January 8th. Okay, when did Ethereum peak? You guys already know the answer to that. It was January 13th. Okay, and what you'll notice, see here, January 13th. Ethereum, and this is why I've said before, the spectacular move by Ethereum, it will likely be the euphoric showstopper. Now, I'm not trying to imply, this is something that some people misunderstand. I'm not necessarily saying that we are going to experience a market cycle top. Okay, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I would anticipate a fairly healthy correction in the altcoin market at some point in the coming weeks or months. Okay, and you might say that's a cop out answer because that's a long time. I've seen these go on longer than I could possibly imagine, right? I've seen altcoin season go for way longer than I thought they would. But what I have noticed is that Ethereum tends to be the euphoric showstopper, which we made a video on. Okay, so what I'm looking for in this type of condition, in this type of environment, is I'm looking for Ethereum to start surging and to basically make it get to a point where it's almost like you can't believe what's happening, and it's that paradigm shift. Okay, for instance, during the last cycle, we saw Ethereum go into this final major move, and it started on January 2nd, okay, and continued on, and it peaked on January 13th. And there were a couple days in here where it didn't really do that much, and then it continued on much higher. It was basically just going up 10% a day, right? 10% each day, sometimes even more. This one was 15%. Here we had another 10% or so. Some of these were 15%, 11%. It was basically just day after day after day, more or less. Ethereum just kept going up. And what you'll notice during that phase, or what I've noticed before, is that a lot of these altcoins, they peak earlier. See that a link peaked on January 8th, and then it had a dead cat bounce here on January 13th, where its dead cat bounce was lower than its actual peak, and the dead cat bounce corresponded to Ethereum's peak. Okay, so if you were to take a measured move, Link peaked at 152 or so. It's 27 now. And then it had a dead cat bounce back up on the 13th, but it peaked 13.5% lower. ADA, if we go take a look at ADA, let's go back and look at January of 2018. So ADA peaked at about 138 or so, somewhere in that ballpark, on January 5th. And then it had a dead cat bounce on the 13th, which is Ethereum's peak, and it was down. The dead cat bounce, though, was 27% down from its prior all-time high. Despite the fact that the dead cat bounce was down, this also corresponded to Ethereum's major blow-off top. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're navigating these markets and you're seeing these altcoins go crazy and they're just putting in, 30% gains daily, 100% gains, 200% gains weekly, you need to be careful. It's really fun. You can make a whole lot of money, but it's not financial advice, but there's nothing wrong with consistently taking profits and making sure you live to fight another day. Okay? There will be a day of reckoning on a lot of altcoins at some point, probably over the next few weeks or maybe the next month or two. There will be a day of reckoning. I don't know when it's coming. And the best way that I can say that, to protect myself is to systematically take profits on these altcoins, right? You don't have to squeeze out every ounce of profit. If you've lived in these markets before, you know what the risk of that involves, right? You know what the risk of that involves. Is it worth, if you think about possible future scenarios, is it worth watching all these gains disappear without having taken any profits? If you're fine with that and you just want to ride this thing out for a few years, there's no problem with that. If you're new to the market, and there's a lot of people that are new to the market, if you're new to the market and you're throwing in a lot of money that you really can't afford to lose, and you're seeing it go up day in and day out, and you're euphoric, and you're dancing around your house, you're taunting your friends and family. I will say this again. There is a fine line between being a genius and being an idiot. Okay? And the nice thing about taking profits along the way in various altcoins as they pump, the nice thing about taking profits is no matter what the market does after you take profits, whether it goes up or down, if you experienced a nice gain, which almost everyone at this point is likely up, if you experienced a nice gain, then you'll always be able to look back and say, I cashed out at 5x, or I cashed out at 10x, or you cashed out at whatever level. And again, it doesn't have to be your whole stack. You could come up with your own strategy. Maybe you cash out 10% a week. Maybe you cash out, you know, 20% every time it goes up 2x, or 50% every time it goes up 2x, just to systematically protect yourself. Now, a lot of people don't like the idea of taking profits to USD, right? Because they don't want to go to USD, they want to stay in crypto. They like the exposure to crypto. Why shouldn't you? You've been watching it go up. If you joined crypto in March, all you do is see it go up. You're probably wondering what the hell everyone's talking about, right? It's just fun and games. It seems like crypto just goes up. Supposedly, right? I mean, you just look at it. It just seems to go up. So the point of this is to say, with Ethereum, it tends to be the euphoric showstopper. And what we would likely see is you're going to see a lot of these coins have these manic runs. They're going to be doing really well. You'll see 100% gains everywhere or a lot of places, and it'll seem like you can't lose money. And then Ethereum's going to start moving. Okay? And when Ethereum starts moving, you need to take note of that, because if it really starts moving and starts putting in 10 to 15% daily, several days in a row, you're likely going to see a lot of these altcoins bleed into Ethereum, and Ethereum's going to be just it's going to be that tidal wave. It's going to be that tidal wave. It's going to suck up a lot of the profits most likely, and then come crashing through. And when it does, my guess is that after that happens, there'll be a pretty nice short-term finale. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the market cycle. I'm not even saying we're going to go back down to this level, which is a hell of a lot lower than where we currently are. But if we were to see Ethereum go do something like this, and maybe it goes up to like 4K or something ridiculous in the short term, and then we see it come back down, and maybe do something like that. I'm not saying this is going to happen by any means, um, but I've seen this type of stuff before. Okay, I've seen this type of stuff before, and I just want people to be smart. Um, One of the downsides to doing a YouTube channel where I try to be somewhat rational, and I tell people that taking profits is not a bad thing, is that in a bull market, when things just keep going up, the people that only ever tell you things go up are going to always seem like the geniuses, until they're not one day. And I just want people to be smart. I want people to protect themselves. It's not the end of the world if you don't squeeze out every last ounce of profit out of every single coin. Systematically taking profits is generally a good thing to do. And you can go from alt to USD. You could also go to a stable coin and earn interest, like maybe USDC, and earn interest, right? There's plenty of platforms you can do that. You could go from alt to Bitcoin. This is a good option as well for a lot of people, because a lot of people are pretty low on their Bitcoin stack. So if you want to maintain exposure to the crypto market, but you want to reduce some of your risk out of a lot of random altcoins that you hold, then you could go to Bitcoin, and you somewhat protect yourself, because in the event of a Bitcoin crash, yes, your USD valuation is going down, but alts will likely bleed against Bitcoin. So it's better to hold Bitcoin during crashes. And then also you could go from alt theoretically to Ethereum, with the hopes that, if you have, say, let's say you have 5 different altcoins, or let's say you have 3, okay, and these are your 3 coins, and then you also have your stack of Ethereum and your stack of Bitcoin, okay. So what you could do, as if coin A is going up 100%, then you could systematically take some of those profits to Ethereum. Maybe you do 25% or 30% or 40% or whatever it is, and then hopefully coin A keeps going up, and then you can just keep taking profits, right? And then so you do that, and then maybe the next week coin A is not doing so well. It's cooled off for a little bit, but coin B is going up 200%. And then you do the same thing, right? You just take profits. Maybe you take it to Ethereum and Bitcoin, and maybe you take some to USD or USDC or something like a stable coin. And then maybe the next week, coin C is going up 100%. And then you just keep doing this, you systematically keep doing the same thing, right? You just protect yourself. You don't have to squeeze out every ounce of profit from every single coin. And so then eventually, I would assume that then Ethereum will have a nice move. So then not only did you see the profits from all these coins, you systematically reduced your risk into other coins that are more or less sitting somewhat still, relatively speaking. I mean, Ethereum's not sitting still by any means, but relatively speaking to some of the altcoins it is. And then you get to ride the Ethereum tidal wave, which might be 100% itself or more once it starts going. And then you do the same thing. When the Ethereum tidal wave comes, then you could systematically take profits from Ethereum to Bitcoin or stablecoins. So then whenever a nasty correction does come, you're still likely going to own some of all of these coins because you generally will like to maintain some of that exposure in case it keeps going up. But at least you can look back at it without regrets and say, you know what? I systematically took profits every week and I converted to other things that then went up. Or if it crashed, at least I was holding Bitcoin and Bitcoin fared better than these coins, and at least I was holding stable coins. So now that when the crash does come, I can move back into my altcoins of choice and repeat the process and get even richer the next time this thing comes around. That's generally what I think for me is, doing these types of things can be beneficial. I will give you one thing. It will not be the thing that necessarily returns the most amount of money, because the thing that returns the most amount of money is you sell every altcoin, all of it at the peak. And if you can systematically sell every altcoin at the peak, then you're probably not watching crypto YouTube to begin with. So keep that in mind, because I certainly don't know where the peak is, and if I did, it would sure make things a hell of a lot easier. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have the premium list altcoin season sale going on, so check that out if you want to know how I'm navigating these markets. We'll keep that going on for a little bit longer, as long as this alt season is in full effect. Hopefully you guys will find value in it. You get access to the risk dashboard, the Telegram alerts channel, the TradingView indicators, the Telegram chat room, premium videos every week, premium live streams, weekly newsletters, etc. Make sure you guys check out the sale before the prices go up. You can lock in the lower rate. Subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, have fun. I hope you make a lot of money, but be responsible along the way. Recognize that as long as Bitcoin holds up relatively well, there's likely an Ethereum tidal wave coming, and I don't want you to miss it. That'll wrap it up for the video. I'll see you next time. Bye.